Hi everyone. Now I'm going to be tying this fly, or this pattern here. This is basically it was I got a phone call and a picture sent to me asking, not so much asking me to tie the fly, but telling me about this fly and how it'd be certainly worth fishing and for wild brown trout, and how well it worked for the gentleman's son, named Stephen. He named it after his son called Stephen Certainty. And if he was fishing a certain water where there was wild brown trout, it was a certainty he would catch on this fly. And so we're going to give it a go. It's a nice pattern, and I like the colour, and it's something different to what I've been tying, so I enjoy tying stuff like this. So anyway, thread, I'm just going to use a black thread, Uni Thread 80. Hook, I'm going to use the black nickel version of the Full and Mill, the competition heavyweight, in this case size 10. So I'm going to do, first thing I'm going to do is wax my thread, just get it started, with plenty of grip. So when we start the eye of the hook, and I'm going to come down. Now you could stop in line with the point of the hook and give it a kind of longer tail. Now this fly is going to be tied within international rules. Now the fly's got to fit, you can see the hook's got to fit in there, and then the total length of the fly has got to be 15/16, so it's just a 16th short of an inch. So that's within the rules, because originally that's what it was tied to be fished in the competitions. And his son did represent Scotland, so this was his qualified twice on this fly. So I've got some Marabou colour, can be entirely up to yourself. This is a nice colour Marabou, I think it suits, you could use all, as I say, different colours. This is like a kind of what we call a cabbage green, if you want to call it. So just bring out some of the fibre, I'll tear it off. I like to tear it off. Depends on how thick or how tapered you want the fly. Now these are broken ends up here, so what I'm going to do is just get us a nice thickness, which is round about here, and pinch it apart. You're looking for a length round about the shank length over the back. Now what I like to do is draw back some of the fibre here, and then tear away these fine fibres. And the reason I like to do that, it saves bulk. Unless you want bulk, fine, but it saves bulk by doing that, and it ties in far better. Just going to check my length. That looks fine. I trim away, and then I'm going to trim it away so that at least give you, you've got a muddler head and a hackle to be tying in, so you need at least 4 or 5 mil at the top here. Now the rib of the fly is a blue holographic, this colour here. This is a medium. So I'm going to rub the body with this, and catch that on, just with a turn, just to hold it. And then I'm going to use the Marabou as a body. So I'm going to bring out some of the fibre, tear away again from the feather, and then basically these are the ends. It was on the stem, so there's the tapered tips here. So what I'm going to do is just catch it with a single turn round and slide it to the points, and then I'm going to basically tie in my materials and tidy up. And then I'm going to wind my Marabou. I'm going to wind it the opposite way I wind my thread. So I'm just going to basically point towards myself. Gives you a nice body. It'll open out like a nice herald. That's fine. So I'm going to cross my thread with a turn, or cross the material with a turn, sorry, and a turn onto the hook, which locks in that turn. Do the same again and again. Now you have to do that because you're winding the opposite way you wind your thread. So we trim that away. We're going to wind our tinsel up. Just try not to trap in too much of the fibre, just come in between it if you can. That looks okay. And that last turn, just stroke back any fibre. Come up with a wee half turn with the tinsel and make sure it's secure. Trim this away. And then wax your thread. Tidy this area up. and then you want to bring your thread up to the point where you can tie in your hackle. The hackle is a partridge. It's a grey partridge dyed hot orange in this case, and a nice hackle. There's a, so that's grey partridge dyed. Just checking the length. I mean, you want a reasonable length in this. Try and use up as much as the feathers as you can. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to locate the tip of the feather. Oops. I use my hackle pliers to do this, so I just come in, grab the tip and draw back what I need. There you go. Trim it so you've got at least enough to tie it on. Catch it on there, 3 or 4 turns or so. You can use your hackle pliers. I'll use the hackle pliers, or you can just wind it by hand. This is an easy feather to wind by hand, so it's quite a thick stem. But if I use my hackle pliers, you'll be able to see what I'm doing. So which is one turn in front of the other, drawing back the fibre. And I'm going to use it all up. This point here, and you want to bend the hackle, come up with your thread, bend the hackle stem 90 degrees to the thread. Just make sure it's secure. That locks it in. Trim away any of these fibres. And then secure that down. Now, depending on the size of the muddler head you want, I mean, you can, there's not a lot of room in a size 10 hook standard, like, so you can balance the fly to suit. And then I've got some deer here. This is a teal blue. It's basically a bleached and dyed teal blue. Well, a reasonable head in it, so I'm going to cut it close to the skin. Just make sure you remove any underfur. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually wanting the best part of the deer hair, which is down here. This is where I usually tie it in shorter than the hackle. In this case, it's easy to separate. Well, it's easy-ish. You still got it. It's still a wee bit fiddly, but you still can manage it. So I make sure I've got the nice hollow ends, the best for basically help the fly to give it a decent muddler head. Now, before I do anything, just make sure you wax your thread. I push the eye of the hook into the bunch of deer hair. So basically I come into the centre of the deer hair, shorter than the partridge, then I hold it with my finger and thumb. I come round with a couple of turns or so, and then I pull tight. And then I wind through these fibres towards the eye. And then you can pull it back, make sure the thread turns in front. Now what I'm going to do here is make sure it's nice and tight. I'm using my nail here. And then what I'm going to do is wet finish. Just draw back these fibres. Nice and tight. There we are. I've got a curved pair of scissors here. These are a fine pair of scissors. If I can get in here. Don't want to cut any of the deer hair away. Now I'm going to use them for trimming the deer hair. Now you can spend a bit of time just lifting out these fibres. Even this fine cut ends here, you can spend a bit of time pulling these up. So just you can use a dubbing needle or so. And then just work your way around. Just hold the hackles, the fibres of the dyed hot orange partridge. Just bring these up and out. It's a wee bit fiddly. You spend a wee bit of time doing this. It makes it easier to trim. So it does. So work your way all the way around. You may miss one or two, but you don't have to get them all. Just bring them out. And there we are. I would use a wee O-ring to help hold that back. I've ran out actually. It's another way of technique I use, but we can still get away with this. So what we want to do now is trim it. So we've got a curved pair of scissors. I'm going to show you these. These are, it says TNR, whatever it is, CE in the end there. I think that's basically to say it's safe. But anyway, they're fine curved scissors that I bought off eBay a few years ago. I bought 3 or 4 pair, and they're only £3 or £4 as well. So what I'm going to do then is trim the head. So I start off very close to the eye and rotate my vise as I do it. And make it obviously, as I go around, I come further up, make the head bigger. And you keep rotating, depending on how big a head you want, whether you want a small head or whatever. It's going to bring it in a wee bit. Just watch your Partridge. It's fiddly in a way. And then you can square up base of these ends. Now normally what I do is I take it off and I turn it around like this, and I come in and I use the scissors. I just slide the scissors, edge of the scissors along, and then cut away the broken ends or the cut ends. There's a long one there. You just line them up. You can have it, it depends on the style of fly you want. You can have these ends tapered and in. You could leave them if you want, but I take them out. And you just work your way around. I mean, well, basically it's a kind of fringe, if you want to call it that. You see how it is. There is always 1 or 2 fibre you will miss. The fine scissors helps because you can get the points right in. There you go. You can only do times so much on the vise. Sometimes you want to take it off like this. And there we are. Once you're happy, you can stop snipping, as I say. And there we go. That's Stephen's Certainty. It's a nice wee Muddler pattern. It's an unusual colour. I can see it. I certainly could see it working. As I say, you can spend. That's fine. I wouldn't do much more than that. Yeah, you can do different variants if you want of it, and I think it would sure work. But this colour combination, blue Muddler head, olive, it just looks very good. And all we have to do is finish it off with a coat of varnish. And don't be shy with the varnish, just into the head area. And then make sure the eye's clear. And there we are. As I say, that's Stephen's Certainty to catch wild brown trout. And as I say, it did well for him when he was qualified to fish the Scotland team twice on this fly. So there we are. So I hope you enjoyed that. And again, thanks for watching.